Many people struggle with consistency because they refuse to be inconsistent. I love what it says in Proverbs 14:13. Even in laughter, the heart may sorrow. That shows us how our outward expressions don't have to be consistent with inward realities. So if I'm tired, I can still work hard. If I'm sorrowful, I can still act happy. And get this, when you act in ways inconsistent with reality for long enough, that then becomes your reality. So if I'm sorrowful and I choose to act happy, I then become happy. But many people struggle here. Instead, they act in alignment with whatever emotions they have and they get inconsistent results. That's because an emotion is an automatic reaction. You can't always control it. For example, if someone hits me in the face, I may get the emotion of anger or frustration. That's an automatic reaction. Now, your feeling is when you become aware of this emotion. I feel angry. I feel frustrated. That's my awareness. Now, what you can control is your expression. That is your response to your feeling. So, do I choose to act in alignment with my anger and punch the guy back in the face, get back at him? Or do I choose to turn the other cheek? Do I choose to forgive the person? That's an inconsistent response, but it's producing a consistent result. When I choose to forgive the person and turn the other cheek, I'm not acting in alignment with my feelings, but I'm getting more consistent results because I'm allowing myself to determine my actions and not my flesh. And get this, as I do that over time, I become a different person. I become a kind person, a forgiving person. So now I have more motivation to have actions that are in alignment with that identity because that's the way I view myself. On the other hand, if I'm feelings based, well, now I will become more. I may be happy one day and angry one day. So my motivation is misaligned. See, motivation is the product of aligned perspective and values. For example, in the past, my goal was to make the NBA. So I had the perspective of, if I work out, I'm going to be good enough to make the NBA. And I had a value on becoming a better basketball player. So because that perspective and value aligned towards a goal, I was motivated to put in work even when my feelings contradicted myself. When I didn't feel like working out, when I was tired, I still had motivation because I had a perspective and a value. Similarly, when you become a better person, now your value is aligned to a better outcome than if you have feelings based. Similarly, when you become a better person, now your values are going to be different. If I see myself as a kind person, I'm going to value turning the other cheek. I'm going to value forgiving other people. And because of that value, and I'm going to have a better perspective, I'm now going to have the motivation to have better actions. That's how you be more consistent. You have to change your identity and choose not to act in alignment with your eternal state if it leads to bad outcomes. So what should we do? How can we make sure our responses are consistent with the results we want to see in the persons we want to become? We do this. We change our perception. A perception is what you notice and how you choose to respond to it. But many people have perceptions that are inconsistent with reality. For example, if it's hot outside and I choose to put on some clothes like a coat or a jacket, it's an inconsistent perception. I'm noticing the weather, but I'm responding in a way that does not help me. And that's how so many people respond. They see the circumstances they're in, they see the different things in their life, and they choose to respond in ways that don't help them. They have a victim mentality. They say, man, life is against me. But what they don't realize is no matter what circumstances come throughout the day, you can always choose to respond in a positive way. So even if bad things happen, that does not determine your response. You can still notice that and respond in a better way. You can still have a positive perception. But how do we do this? How do we make sure our perception is positive? It goes back to our feelings. We don't respond in how our feelings or automatic reactions want us to respond. We're not dictated by the flesh. We're driven by wisdom. See, many people are not wisdom-based. What does that mean? Wisdom-based is having your decisions made by yourself. Is pausing before you talk. Is pausing before you do action. Because when you don't do that, you become reaction-based. If someone hits me and I instantly hit them back, reaction based. But wisdom makes sure to pause and say, is this a good way to respond? And one way you become more wisdom based is by trading out your thoughts. And my pastor gave us a great framework for controlling our thoughts. It was act, awareness, capture, trade. When a thought comes into your mind, you first have to become aware of it. After you're aware of it, capture it. Ask yourself, is this a good thought to have, or is this an unprofitable thought? If it's a destructive thought, you choose to trade it out for something else. That's how we have better perceptions. When a thought comes from our automatic emotions, automatic reactions, we think, hey, is this a good thought to have? Should I respond in this way, or should I respond in a better way? And after catching it, we can trade that thought out for a thought that fuels wisdom. Now, we're more consistent in our responses because we're thinking before we act. And this is something I know I'm going to have to apply during the summer. See, during the summer, God willing, I'll be doing a door-to-door sales job. And with door-to-doors, you get a lot of no's every single day. You can't always control it either. I don't know if someone just had a divorce or someone just, lost their job. People go through different things and they give you different reactions when you knock on their door. I can't always control that. So I have to make sure to be wisdom driven and not emotion driven. If I'm emotion driven, people may say, no, I don't want your pest control. Get out my lawn. Okay, now I'm going to have the automatic reaction of, man, why do you respond to me like that? Or, man, I'm angry at this guy. Or, man, no one wants to buy what I want to sell. I can have that emotion reaction come, but I don't have to respond inconsistent with that internal state. I can choose to think and say, no, this is not a thought I want to have. Why? Because it's not going to align with the results I want to see or the person I want to become. So when I trade those thoughts out and say, man, he's just having a bad day, or man, I'm going to get the next sale, or man, this person's going to, whatever it is, well, now I can have more consistent results because my thoughts are leading to better actions. Similarly, we all have to capture our thoughts and trade them out for more proper ones so we can have actions that are in alignment with the persons we want to become. Now, like most things in life, at first, this may not be easy. Like when emotions like anger rise up, it's not always easy to not act in alignment with that anger. But over time, as you consistently have better responses, you're going to get better because you have more experience. Same thing with door-to-doors. I'm going to knock on the door, hear a no, and emotion of anger might rise up. Like, man, why? But over time, as I consistently respond well to that circumstance that happened to me, well, now I'm going to get better. I'm going to be more likely to respond that way. Not just because I become a better person, but because I reinforce that so much, it becomes my default response to a no. We can all do this. It's over repetition that we make something autopilot. We make something default. But most people do this in the negative. They respond according to their feelings so much that that response becomes autopilot. That's why you see people get upset. They're grown adults and they get upset at circumstances. They get upset at different things that happen to them. Like, man, did you just start life? Like, this is life. Like, not everything does not go our way. But when we understand that, and when we reinforce a positive response so much, even when stuff does not go our way, we respond in a positive way. That is how you be wisdom driven, and that's how you be consistent, and that'll get you better results. So one way you can do this is by putting yourself in positions like a door-to-door sales job or like going out of your comfort zone. Put yourself in positions where your character has to be tested so you have more opportunities to grow. That's why trials are a good thing. Not that we want trials, but when they come, if we choose to respond well, we then become perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Like we know how to respond to our trials. So have that mindset and you get better results. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this type of content, feel free to subscribe. I try to post 2 videos every day and short every single, no. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this type of content, feel free to subscribe. Also, you have any speaking opportunities, I'd love to speak for you. Reach out to me at austin_inspiration.daily. And for any speaking opportunities, and I'd love to talk to you about that. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you guys for watching.